Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing well. Today's video is going to be about my labor and delivery story. But before I share that, please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you like the video, and hit the post notification bell so that you are notified of any time that we post. So let's just get right into it. Basically, in the previous video, I stated that on February the 7th, went to my doctor's office. I found that I was getting induced the next day, which would have been the 8th, but they found protein in my urine, so I had to go to the hospital actually on the 7th. Long story short, get to the hospital and they check me in. They do all the stuff that they're supposed to do. The next morning on February the 8th, I was officially 38 weeks. So they started the induction process at 1:45 a.m. Induction process, 0 out of 10 recommend. It is not fun at all, okay? So they did my first pill. They waited the amount of time they're supposed to. Did my second pill. Because if the first pill doesn't work, which is orally, they have to insert it. So they did the second pill. After that, they continuously do cervical checks to make sure, check and see if you're dilating, make sure it's working and different things like that. So it wasn't really working for me. So we waited for a little bit, tried again. And so day number 2, I was a little bit dilated, just a little bit. And so I had a male like doctor. So he did the second part of the induction, which is the Folly balloon, which, oh, no, y'all, the Folly balloon. So he did the Folly balloon and broke my water simultaneously. So, just kept going through the day, waited for the Folly balloon to work, which once you get to 3 to 4 centimeters, the Folly balloon either comes out or they kind of pull it out, especially if it's already like coming out. So did that, and then after the Folly balloon, waited a little bit. I still wasn't really dilating that much. So after the Folly balloon, like I said, it shoots to, I think, 4 centimeters, if I'm not mistaken. We waited for a little while, and then they started the Pitocin. So, because I think they did the Folly balloon like day 2.5, 3-ish, or somewhere around that. So on night number 3, after me really not dilating that much, I think I got to about maybe 5-ish. And so they started the Pitocin, which, oh my gosh, y'all, Pitocin is nothing to be played with, okay? Because you have to think, you're forcing your body to do something it wasn't naturally ready to do. Pitocin, So they started the Pitocin. So I'll say around 3:30 on morning number 4. Because at first, before I say this, I was seeing my contractions a little bit here and there, here and there. And then they were giving me, I forgot the name of that medicine. It's like some medicine that starts with an F, if I'm not mistaken. But you can only take so much of it. And I was only taking like a little bit here and there because I wanted my entire birth to be natural. Like, I actually wanted my entire pregnancy to be natural. I wanted a midwife. I wanted to have a home birth. Of course, sometimes things just don't go as planned. So I couldn't have a midwife or a home birth because I was high risk, and you know how that goes, safety reasons and everything. So anyway, after I woke up in extreme pain. Like, I was shaking the bed. I was in so much pain at 3:30 in the morning. That was morning number 4. So the lady comes in, because they have to check on you periodically, do cervical checks. I'm hurting. Like, at this point, the Pitocin, I think, was at level number 6. And I think the lady said that it goes up to a 20-something. My contractions were giving me no break. They were literally going right into each other. It wasn't even like a 1 minute, 2 minute rest. No, they were literally going straight into each other. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like literally just shaking because I'm in so much pain. And so the nurse comes in and says, I know that you want your birth to be natural, but you might have to just do that on the next child. Um, we need you to really get the epidural because your body is so tense, and this is the only way that you can relax and try to dilate more. Now, mind you guys, like I said, this is morning number 4. I'm only at about 6. We have been trying for like 4 days at this point to get me to 10. It was crazy. And so basically, I said no, no matter how much pain I was in. I was saying no to the epidural. I did not want it because I always heard that if you move when you have an epidural, it could potentially paralyze you. People still have back pain years later from epidurals and stuff. So I didn't want it. I was like, I'll just deal with the pain. But y'all, when I said, that lady was like, baby, you just need to get this epidural because we really are trying here. We're really trying to keep your birth as well, like you having like a vaginal delivery. Okay, so I said no. I'm still saying no. I didn't want it. And so she walks out. Was like, well, before she walks out, she's like, let me know if you change your mind because they can't force you, you know? And so, like, literally the next contraction hit, not even a whole minute later. And I called the nurse's station. I said, have her come back, like, immediately. So I told her what I wanted. The anesthesiologist came in, and like I said, I'm shaking from being in so much pain. I'm shaking the rails. I'm tossing and turning. Like, it was crazy. And so he looks at me and he looks at the nurse and he's like, do you think we're going to be able to do this on her? Because look at her. You know, and the nurse is like, I don't know, but we're going to have to try, you know? And so, anyway, they told me, you have to be still. You know, you can't move because, you know, like I said, it could potentially paralyze you if they hit a nerve. And I said, what if I have a contraction? Can't you guys stop the process? They were like, no, you're just going to have to take the pain and be still, mama. And so I was like, okay. So, guys, when I tell you, I asked the men to explain every single thing to me because, like I said, I was in the room, just me, and I'm not really like a scary person per se like that, but that's something dealing with your body. I'm already in a lot of pain. I'm on Pitocin. It was just so much going on at that point. So he explained every step to me. And first of all, he did step 1. I jumped. He was like, you can't jump. Please be still. Please be still. And I'm like, okay. So I'm still, and the nurse is right in front of me. She's trying to talk to me, trying to calm me. I had three contractions as he was doing my epi. And so he explained the whole entire process to me. And he was like, okay, now I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to do this. And so I really appreciated that, considering like I don't know what's happening. I mean, I know I'm getting an epi, but I don't know the entire process, you know? And I've heard some people say it hurts. So I was like, okay, but I guess nothing really compares to the pain and contractions, especially when you're on Pitocin because of the force, right? So anyway, he finishes my epidural. Literally, he was like, I think he might have asked me if I could feel something. I can't even remember, y'all. I think I was asleep within like 5 minutes. And so next thing I know, because this was like 3 something in the morning, the doctors are coming in at like 7, you know, because they're changing shifts or whatever. And they do my cervical check, and I'm still really not moved that much. And so they say, listen, today is morning number 4. I mean, today is day number 4. If you are not dilated to 10, I forgot what time they gave me. We're going to have to do C-section. Y'all, I literally was like, no, I don't want that. I don't want a C-section. So they came back a couple of hours later and was like, you know what? We're not even going to wait as long as we said. We made the decision that you're just going to get a C-section. And I was like, but you didn't, that's not the time frame that you told me, but you guys have to think where they explained it to me. They're like, listen, this is morning number 4. Day number 4. You're barely, barely moving. You had an epidural like hours ago. You're not moving, and this is getting really dangerous for you and the baby because they had broke my water the day before, and they were saying that me and the baby were at risk of infection, and I wasn't feeling it, y'all. So anyway, um, I begged them. They was like, "We're just gonna go ahead and set it up so you can get the C-section at 5 o'clock." I said, "Okay, just give me more time. Like, let me do the peanut ball. Let me do the throne position." Yeah, I was trying everything I could think of that I knew of because I had did my research and had been watching videos and everything before I went into the hospital. Yeah, nothing worked. I said, "Please check me right before, check me right before you guys wheel me out of here and see, because I really don't want this." Yeah, and the crazy thing is, I'll say like night number three. I forgot to say this part. Night number three, me and the nurse was talking, and she was like, "We're gonna try this process again because you're not even supposed to eat, from what I understand, the entire time you're in labor. In case you have to do a C-section, they don't want you to aspirate or something like that. I think that's the correct term." So on night number three, the lady was like, "We're gonna try to start this process over with the pill." They tried the pill over because she was telling me how, um, like she knew one time a lady was in labor and not dilated, but after the pill, like maybe an hour or two later, it had worked that fast for her. So she was like, "Let's just try to keep going. Let's just try to keep going." I'm so hungry. Yeah, I'm so tired at this point. And I said, "Okay, whatever. Let's just move it." You know what I mean? And I thought maybe I would have him by night number three. No, none of that still worked for me. And like I said, Dan Pitocin and, you know, all of that. So anyway, the guy, they come and tell me, y'all, before I say this part, I remember I was so sad and crying because nothing about my pregnancy, nothing about my birth had went planned. And I remember one of the nurses telling me, I was like, "I feel like I failed because I got an epidural. I didn't want that. I didn't have a natural birth. I didn't have a home birth." And the lady really had to tell me, she was like, "Listen, sometimes women just cannot make it to 10. That doesn't mean like you're a failure. That doesn't mean you're not going to be a good mom." But that's just how I felt because I felt like everything I had set out to plan was not going to plan. And ever since I thought about having kids, I knew I always wanted it natural because I never wanted an epi. And like I said, sometimes things just does not go to plan, right? So she talked to me, she calmed me down. I called my mom and said, "I'm gonna have to have a cesarean." And my mom was like, "That's okay." And I was like, "No, I really don't want this." And she's like, "Well, why are you doing everything that you've been doing so far? No epi, no this, no that." And I was like, "Because, to keep my baby safe and everything." And she was like, "Right. This is just another way of keeping your baby safe." And what really made me feel better, because she was like, "I'm really proud of you for going like 4 days without an epidural. Like, that's really big." And I was like, "Yeah." So my mom came to the hospital, and I remember her saying, like, "You guys must have gave her epi because she's sleeping," because I wasn't really sleeping. And I remember the doctor told me, I kept saying, "I'm just so ready to meet my baby. I'm ready to meet my baby." And the doctor told me, when they told me I was going to get a cesarean, and I just literally kept saying no, he was like, "Aren't you tired? You've been at this for 4 days." And I was like, "I just want to keep going. I don't, I don't want this," right? And I felt Jackson moving and everything. And I literally was just doing the best that I could to make sure my baby was safe and what I thought was the best thing, right? So, long story short, it's time for me to go to the operating room. And I'm like, "No." Like I said, "Please just check me, check me, check me." They checked me. I was still at the same place from the previous day, like 6.5, 7-ish. I ain't have no choice at that point, y'all. So the guy put the medicine in the whatever the epidural thing is, because it's already in your back. So he put the medicine in. The medicine did not work. So he's like, okay, well, we're going to go take you to the operating room. We're going to give you a spinal tap because, from what I understand, a spinal tap is supposed to be like when a person has to have like an emergency surgery, it works faster than the epidural, from what they were saying. Well, when I get to the operating room, I feel them take that first thing that was in my back out and insert it again. And I'm like, okay. So after a little minute, I still felt everything. And they were like, okay, well, we're going to have to wait for like an hour. We're going to try again in an hour. Now, mind you, epidurals, I don't know if it does for everybody, but for me, it made me shake like I was out in the cold. Like I was shaking, 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 and it made me sleep. And so I know at some point during that hour, I felt like I could not breathe. And I'm like, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, and they're like, well, we see you breathing. Maybe you just feel like that because I was on my back and just a whole bunch of stuff. And so I'm like, get this. They put the oxygen mask, and I'm like, get this mask off of me, like right now. I cannot breathe. So I'm taking all the strength I have to tell them I can't breathe. So they sat me up for a little bit. And like I said, I was so exhausted because I've been in labor for 4 days. I had like one, two, or that was like my third, including the morning one, doses of epidural stuff. So finally, after an hour, they're like, "Can you feel this? Can you feel this?" They're pricking me. I still felt them, and they was like, "Yo, don't touch her. If you guys touch her, she's going to feel everything." I fell back asleep. So the doctor came to me and said, "Okay, we have one or two choices. You can get a general anesthesia, but you'll miss the birth of your baby because it'll put you to sleep, or you can let me do a spinal tap slash epidural combo." Mind you, I'm halfway gone, y'all. So much medicine's in my system at that time. I'm halfway gone. And so I said, the spinal tap epidural combo, I don't know. And so they're holding me up literally because I'm like literally falling over from being so exhausted. They did that. I felt like it's like you can feel the pressure or so of them putting something in your back. I felt them take it out, put something else in. So that was like my third line at that time, but fourth dose of medicine, if you want to call it. So literally, I lay on the table. All I hear is my mom say, oh no, all I hear is the doctor say incision. I hear my mom say, "Did you guys give her something to sleep?" I hear my mom say, he's out, wake up, wake up." But y'all, I couldn't even wake up because I had my arm strapped down, and I kind of noticed a little bit, but I just was out of it. And then I heard my baby's cry. That's really it. By the time I fully came to, I was stitched up. My mom was gone. They had my baby wrapped up, and we were getting ready to go to recovery. I just remember waking up and saying, "Where's my baby? Like, where's my baby? Where's my baby?" And they're like, "He's here. He's here." I'm like, "I don't see him. I don't see him. Give me my baby. Like, give me my baby, right?" And so after that, they're like, "It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Calm down. He's right here." Mind you, I don't even know how long I had been out after that. My mom was gone, and during that hour that they gave me that other dose of medicine, she couldn't be in there either. So they give me my baby. I'm barely up. They wheel us to recovery or whatever. And then, um, some I can't remember every single detail after that. I think they come in and I think the nurse wanted to bathe him or so, but I do know. No, I think before that he had to eat because they told me his sugar level was not the highest and he had to eat right away. Um, Mind you, I didn't want cow milk, but that's the only thing they had in the hospital. So, he had to eat right away. And then after that, I remember them giving him a bath. But yeah, I was so out of it. A couple times I feel like I almost dropped him, and thank God I didn't, knock on wood. My mom's like, "Let me just take him," or whatever like that. But I was so determined, like, to be up and take care of my child, especially that first night. It's like, no, 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 it's okay. It's okay. It's good. I can do it. And so, finally I put him to bed because he's waking up, every few hours. The bed is right next to me and everything. So after that, pretty much the next day, pretty much the next day they were, testing his levels all the way until we went to postpartum. And so we went to postpartum, and then um, when we get to postpartum, I'll say about within the next couple of days, my blood pressure is going up and down and up and down, but it's staying consistently high. So they're trying different medicines, and they were like, I had preeclampsia a little bit before I went in, or preeclampsia before I went in. So they were like, okay, we're giving you these different medicines, trying to control your levels. And so they kept just checking and different things like that, but they were staying high. So my feet and my legs, y'all, got so big like balloons, they felt like they were going to bust. They were so tight, they were burning, they were hurting. And yeah, I forgot to mention this. I was in the hospital for 8 days total, but I was on bed restriction for 5 because for the first 4 days of being in there, you know, because of my blood pressure was high too, they had me on magnesium, and magnesium makes you dizzy. So they had to put me on bed restriction. I had an IV here and I had an IV over here. And so it was just like so crazy. I had to keep switching my IVs because it was beeping and everything. And IVs are no fun either, okay? So anyway, yeah, they had to do the catheter and all of that. So I remember after Jackson was born, I had to be on magnesium for bed rest for another 24 hours. So 5 out of the 8 days I was in the hospital, I was on bed rest. I couldn't even move. So anyway, they're trying to get the levels together. They say you can go home once your levels get normal. So they finally get them kind of under control. And y'all, when I say the back pain kicked in like a couple days later also, I could not even really sit up. That is how much pain I was in. Like, when you want to talk about back pain, I guess because I had 3 epis and all of that, like, my back was in so much pain. I had to literally bend for most of the time. I couldn't even sit up straight. It hurt that bad. And my mom was in and out of the hospital with me, but for most of it, it was just me. And so I'm like, which I really appreciate her, by the way. So Mom, when you watch this video, I really appreciate it. So, the nurses are helping me as much as they can. And, because they have other people, they're taking care of the baby, they're trying to take care of me because we got our different nurses and stuff. I also forgot to mention this in the beginning of the video. I ended up having COVID when I went too. So I was on COVID watch or whatever, but I was anaphylactic or something like that. So I just had to do my 5 days in the hospital. And I remember asking them, will I pass this on to my baby? But they said more than likely no. He did get a COVID test the day before we left and everything. He was fine. I had to just wear my mask the first few days, 5 days around him or so. So all of that happened, and then they released me to go home finally, or us to go home finally. So I had went that Tuesday night of the prior week. When we left, it was the next Thursday. So I was in there about nine-ish days or so. Yeah, 9 days. So we got home. That was a Thursday night. Monday morning, they had the health aides come out to the house. Yeah, when they came out to the house, my blood pressure was at stroke range. I had to be rushed back to the hospital because they somehow sent me home with the wrong medicine. But thank God that the health aid people came out because my blood pressure, like I said, was at stroke range, and no telling what could have happened. So mind you, y'all, I'm dealing with this recovery from the C-section. My blood pressure is crazy high. I'm trying to take care of my baby. And my mom was here for the first week or almost week with us. So yeah, thank God. Like, thank God for her. So it was just like so much that happened. I went back to the hospital and they took the VBAC thing out from having the surgery. they finally put me on the right pills. And after they put me on the right pills, my blood pressure finally started to stabilize itself. But I was dealing with back. I mean, my baby is about to be 11 months, and I'm just now kind of getting over this like crazy back pain, right? It's like it's happening here and there now. But it was crazy for the first 9.5, 10 months because I was having those pains like so much. Well, I'm thankful that it's finally like getting has gotten better and everything. I'm still taking like blood pressure pills, and I had gestation diabetes, so I'm still taking like some metformin to kind of get everything or keep everything kind of good. Because actually, when I went to my follow up doctor visits with my regular doctor, my A1Cs were great. So really, I'll just say like the blood pressure medicine, I'm still kind of just getting that back to normal. But outside of that, yeah, I'm feeling better and better every day. I move around great. Like, I really love being a mom. I'm so thankful. If you guys watch my PCOS pregnancy story, I say how at one point I didn't even think this would be possible for me. So, yes, I went through so much to get my baby here, and I'm so thankful to even be here from everything that I endured and he endured. But it's just the fact that I'm able to say that I'm a mom, that I'm raising my baby. Like, I am so blessed and I am so thankful every day. And I really hope, I know this video is long, I'm sorry, y'all, but I really hope my story helps someone. Because a lot of times, I've heard people say how they don't really take you serious in labor, or, feel like you can deal with the pain. When I was saying that I could not breathe, and they were like, well, you probably just feel like that because we can actually see your breath, your chest rising up and down. I'm like, I don't care what you're saying. I feel like I can't breathe. Get me up now. So it's like I had to be a little bit forceful for them to actually listen to me, because I literally felt like I was getting no air to my lungs, right? But I'm thankful they listened. I'm thankful that the surgery went well. I had a doctor named Doctor. How funny is that, right? He took amazing care of me. They all took such good care of me. And my baby was actually born at the hospital that I was born at. I wanted another hospital at first, but because my doctor ended up inducing me, I didn't have a chance to go to the one I wanted. But I'm okay because the hospital actually did take really good care of me and my baby. And like I said, he was born at the same hospital as me. So I'm like, who knew all these years later we would have the same exact initials, almost the same name meanings, which I will talk about that in another video, what our name meanings mean, and be born at the same hospital. Crazy, right? But like I said, I'm thankful. And oh, guys, because I was missed my entire birth, like, well, operation and seeing my baby and everything, my baby actually got to see my mom first. Y'all, when I came to, my mom had taken pictures and she was gone. And my mom and my baby, they love each other so much. But I can really imagine it, especially because he got to see her first. Um, and that's crazy because this is my mom's first grandchild. And she always wanted a boy, but ended up with two girls. So she is in love with my baby. And my baby just smiles whenever he sees her. So I am so thankful for the bond that they have. I'm so thankful that she takes really, like she does what she can to make sure he's good and everything. Like, I know they're probably going to have such a special bond throughout the years, and I hope it stays that way forever. But anyway, guys, this video is about 30 minutes, super long. So I'm going to go ahead and click off. But I will see you guys in the next video. And the next video is actually Meet Baby Jackson, which I'm really excited about. I hope everyone has a great day. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. Be blessed.